So in today's video, we're going to talk about a subject that still gives me trauma from the past. This is the time that a white belt almost broke my neck, so we'll get that started right now. What's up everybody? My name is Chasen. I'm a Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I've been teaching and training for over 12 years now, and this is a Jiu-Jitsu channel that's dedicated to all things Jiu-Jitsu. So make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button down below. Let me know the time that you guys were almost injured, or if you ever have been injured, let me know your craziest injury that you've ever had in the comments down below. Make sure you guys also hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps me in the YouTube world. I appreciate it, guys. This video, man, it was a good learning habit and it's a good teaching habit that I still use today whenever I teach class. I was probably about, I believe I was a blue belt. I think I was almost a purple belt. This was back, 7, 8, 9 years ago when people were, a lot more rough in Jiu-Jitsu than they are now. Techniques are a lot smoother now. Gyms are a lot more structured than they used to be. And I was training with a guy. He was a ex-military guy. So he had done some Jiu-Jitsu before. Typically at our school that we train at, we typically don't let brand new white belts roll on their first day. They have to complete so many classes before they're able to spar. This is because of this reason. This is actually one reason why we decided to shift this, is because of me. Now, I understand not every military person or every new person is going to get people hurt, but there's a high chance that when brand new people come to the gym, you don't know what they've seen on YouTube, you don't know if they watched the UFC, what they've learned or what they know. So if you expect them to spar, to them, it's like a fight for their life. You have no idea what they're gonna try to do. They haven't been taught anything except for probably a handful of techniques that they just learned in their first class, and now you expect them to spar and not hurt anybody. That's a little ridiculous. However, each to their own, and we'll get back to the story. So, I was sparring with a guy. He was a military guy. He had told us that he had done a little bit of training, quite extensive of training, and military is great for Jiu-Jitsu. There's a whole organizations, Mission 22, We Defy. There's a lot of military organizations that are involved in Jiu-Jitsu. Their military is a great asset to Jiu-Jitsu, and I thank everybody that's always served. But a lot of times, unfortunately, it's very similar to like law enforcement. A lot of times when military guys come in or law enforcement guys come in, they only have one gear, and I completely understand. You guys are fighting for your life on a daily basis. We were okay. He's done some training before. He's been in the military. He's done some military jiu-jitsu. He's expressed wrestling role before, and cool, great, fine. So me and him are rolling. We're sparring around, and I can't remember how we wound up, but we ended up in my guard. So I'm on my back, and just to kind of give you guys a outlook of how I look, you guys can't really see the full body picture. I'm not that big. I'm about 5'7", 150 to 160 pounds. So this was several years ago. So I was probably maybe only about 140 pounds or 30 pounds at this time. This guy is quite a bit bigger. He's probably, I don't think he's about 6 foot, maybe a little less, but he's probably pushing 185, maybe close to 200 of pretty solid muscle. So I'm in the guard, I'm letting him work. I think I maybe tried a collar choke. I tried a few things and I wasn't getting him. He was doing a good job at defending, but I think he was getting frustrated that he couldn't unlock my guard. So then what he did is there's a move called a can opener or a neck crank. If you're familiar with it, it's basically where the person inside of the guard reaches behind the person's head, and what the goal is to pull, they want to pull your chin down to your chest. And the idea is if they can crank on the neck, you feel a little shot that goes right down your spine. And what that does is it shoots to your tailbone, and hopefully it don't crosses your feet, and then they can get out and run away. I know Boss Rutan used to use it back in the day, and I've heard him say that he actually used to use it to bait an arm lock. In our basics of fundamentals class, we actually teach that as a technique that if someone grabs behind your head and does a can opener, in a self-defense or a street altercation, there is an arm lock there. Boss Rutan said that he used to do it on purpose because he knew people would go for it. Anyway, that's a whole debate on a separate day. But he grabbed the back of my head, and it wasn't a light intent. He grabbed the back of my head and ripped my chin to my chest. And I felt every single probably vertebrae down my back or spine go tick, 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 tick. I felt it all pop, and it was annoying. I actually ended up, this is when I was probably a little bit hotter head than I probably should have been. I did end up arm locking him actually from that technique. It took me a second to realize that that's what he was doing, because it's kind of a dick move, I guess is the best way to say it. Hopefully I don't get censored for that. But it's not a very cool move to neck crank people as hard as you can whenever you start sparring. We don't really want to do jiu-jitsu to injure our training partners, even though we are training for self-defense and things like that. It's just kind of a gym etiquette that we're not doing things to break and hurt each other. So when he grabbed the back of my neck and he just ripped it all the way down, in my brain, that was the last thing I thought he was gonna do. But then I was, oh yeah, he's new, he's military, and just all these things added up. So I ended up arm locking him, and I think I almost broke his arm. I know I heard his arm pop. He tapped pretty quickly, and my neck was pretty sore. I think I probably put on the arm lock pretty hard because I think I was pretty pissed off. It was just a weird scenario. Unfortunately, the student doesn't actually train anymore. He had some things he had to take care of. But after speaking with him, and then actually my head instructor at the gym, he had experienced some pretty high military combat time, and he had expressed that anytime that he gets into a conflict like that, he just kind of sees red and goes for it. And I don't think he was really trying to hurt me. I think he had just initiated that, I can't get out of this guy's guard. I'm just gonna grab his head and pull, and hopefully it works. Man, that just brings me to a point of when you guys are new, especially if you're a white belt and you're training, there are certain techniques and things that, you guys should just probably avoid. With the internet and YouTube, you can find any technique and find a way to do something on somebody. But especially when you're training with an upper belt, a lot of times upper belts are letting you work techniques. So even if you put an upper belt like in an arm lock, don't hyperextend their arm as hard as you can because you think you have them in an arm lock, or you have this choke and you just squeeze as hard as you can because you think that you actually caught it and you want to make them pay for it, right? Make sure you wouldn't want them to do that to you. If they had you in an arm lock, which they probably could at any time, you don't want them to hyperextend your arm and break your arm. So there's just certain techniques, typically like neck cranks and spinal locks and things of that nature, that you don't really want to do when you're brand new to people, especially if you can't do them controlled. And so, I remember my neck was probably sore for almost 3 weeks after. I don't think I couldn't train. What I couldn't do, as I remember, is I couldn't look down. If I tried to look down, I felt my whole spine start to cinch. I couldn't turn my neck really. I don't know. I've been training now. That was a long time ago. I still have neck issues, but I don't think it's necessarily from that. That's just from years of jiu-jitsu and training and people putting me in guillotines. Maybe if my guillotine defense got better, that wouldn't happen. But anyway, this is just an interesting story that I try to use as a teaching tool for students. If you're gonna try techniques like that, make sure you really understand them. You're going slow and controlled. And then also, if you're gonna try a technique like that, don't be surprised if you get some repercussion on the back end from the upper belt or from the other person, because no one likes being hurt. And it's an interesting story that I like to share, like I said, as a teaching tool, as a training tool for my own students and for myself. So yeah, keep that in mind. Anyways, thank you guys for checking this video out. Like I said, make sure you comment down below any injuries that you've had, some crazy stories. If you guys have any, let me know down below. Leave a like and subscribe. Also, quick little plug, I have a podcast. It's called the Chasen Live Podcast that you guys can check out down here. I'd really appreciate it. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.